Eloise is about to step into the limelight, so let's see what's to come in Season 3. Reconciliation with Penelope. Eloise is one character that has captured our hearts with her wittiness and attention to women's rights. It's known that the actress went through a lot in Bridgerton too, but if there was one thing Season 2 showed us, it was how the relationship between two childhood friends ended in a sad betrayal. One of the best friendships on the show has been between Eloise Bridgerton, played by Claudia Jesse, and Penelope Featherington, played by Nicola Coughlan. The sad parting had annoyed the fans of the series, but it was expected as the fans were aware that Lady Whistledown would be exposed sooner or later. When Eloise discovered her best friend was the same gossip monger she had been obsessed with, she told Penelope she would never speak to her again. We all know how Eloise finds solace in always sharing her most intimate secrets with Penelope, so naturally people asked whether there would be reparation for their friendship in Season 3. While speaking of how she thinks the friendship will forge ahead in Bridgerton, Claudia said, "I don't think it will be insurmountable, that's one thing. The reason for that is the fact that Eloise admires and has admired Lady Whistledown for so long. She'll probably end up being a bit impressed with her best friend. However, I do think it's going to take time and effort because the levels of betrayal are so big." When asked if Eloise would expose her friend's secret to the Queen in Season 3, the actress said, "I just don't see it happening. I can't see it happening. Someone else could, maybe Madame Delacroix, but I just can't see Eloise telling anyone. She'd be like, there's nothing to gain here." When Nicola had to answer the same question, she said, "My instinct is no. I would have to ask the writers, but I think they love each other too much. I don't think Eloise would ever do that to her. I don't think Eloise would betray her in that way." Seeing how far this relationship has come in the 2 previous seasons, the fans wouldn't be happy to see this bond completely shattered, and they all want to see more of them. While it may take time to heal their fallout, many fans still believe Bridgerton 3 will feature the pair being happily together again. Eloise might date. The series features one Bridgerton sibling as a lead role in search of love in every season. Many fans believe the producer, Shonda Rhimes, would have to skip the next book to make a compelling story. Shonda Rhimes confirmed that they would not be following the books in the order in which they were written, but they would likely go with the storyline of the book. In her words, she said, "We're not necessarily going in order, but we're going to be seeing each of the siblings and their stories." When asked if work is already ongoing on Bridgerton 3, the producer said, "Got a little bit creative, so we're already hard at work writing Season 3. That's already in progress, and you'll see, give it time." But Shonda ignored the question when asked to share which Bridgerton sibling will get the spotlight. "I can't tell you, that's a spoiler, I can't." Because Eloise was made to appear ready for marriage in Season 2, she might just be the next sibling to get into a romance in Season 3. This could mean a chance to give Eloise and Theo Sharp, the printer's apprentice, a love storyline that would get dragged into the next season. Because as we all know, Eloise seems to have fallen in love with Theo, portrayed by the actor Callum Lynch. The relationship broke off after Lady Whistledown shamed Eloise for mingling with a man of the lower class without a chaperone. But there's a twist. In the book, Eloise doesn't end up with Theo Sharp. She might actually marry Sir Philip Crane, Marina Thompson's widower, instead. The fans will be angry if Eloise turns out not to marry her love interest like her other 2 siblings who have gone ahead of her though. On top of that, Theo Sharp doesn't exist in the books as Eloise's love interest, so why some fans believe Sir Philip might end up being erased as an option for Eloise. While speaking of the hope Callum Lynch has for Eloise and Theo, he said, "Eloise has so much love to give and she's such a fiercely loyal person and a kind person. I'd love to see her guide him through the, total jungle of going into a ball or something. That would be really sweet to watch." The actor, however, sounded a warning that the relationship between Eloise and Theo might be a big struggle when he said, "Class is a big thing back then, so it might just break their hearts. It may be too difficult, we'll have to see." With the focus on the feelings Eloise has for Theo Sharp in Season 2, the fans are eager to explore what more could be unraveled in their relationship in Bridgerton 3. Eloise is that lady that loves to be different and will probably set a new trend in society. When Claudia was asked if she would love Eloise to have a love life, she said, "I would." People seem to have an idea that because she's a feminist, we shouldn't give her a romance storyline, and I don't think that's right. I think it would be interesting and gorgeous to be able to see how Eloise navigates all of that, to show that autonomy doesn't have to mean an absence of love or partnership. Claudia Jesse thinks her character in the movie should explore dating, a completely foreign concept to the rest of the town. The actress said, "It'd be quite cool just to see her date. She could just date people. If anyone can get away with it, it's Eloise. Wouldn't it be cool to see her maybe date someone, then maybe date someone else? That can happen. That happens in life all the time. I'd love to see that pushed across on the screen." That is definitely what the Eloise character can pull off, a difference in an uptight society. Exploration of marriage idea. It would be strange indeed to have Eloise settle down in marriage. She had intended to grow up as a confident and single lady without the burden of ever being tied to wife duties. In the previous seasons of the show, Eloise believed she'd have Penelope join her in her dream of being an independent woman. The book actually confirms how Penelope settled down and became married, leaving Eloise alone and miserable. Eloise, now confronted with the fear of being lonely, started to write to Sir Philip Crane, who had just lost his wife, Marina. This part of the story appears in the 5th book of Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. And since the producer might not follow the order of the book, we can expect our dear Eloise to get married in Bridgerton 3 if the story is adapted. The fans of the books and the TV series think Eloise got hooked by Sir Philip due to her now lonely and boring lifestyle. In a society where almost everyone gets quickly married, it'd be strange not to feel left out. In the books, as soon as Eloise got comfortable with Sir Philip, she decided to pay an unannounced visit to the bereaved man in the middle of the night without stirring any suspicion. While speaking about why she had to take the next step in the book, Eloise said, "I had to do something. I couldn't just sit and wait for life to happen to me any longer." Eloise later discovered that Sir Philip had 2 children, and she found joy in playing with the new family. Later in the book, her brothers discover she'd been spending time with a single man without a chaperone, and they insist she get married. Eloise, according to her nature, disagreed and objected strongly. However, the author made us realize it was a love match in the end, and they in fact had a happy marriage. The fans would be saddened to see this marriage plan work, especially now that almost every lover of the show is rooting for Eloise and Theo. But thinking about it, since it is part of the book, it is possible to have it introduced in Bridgerton Season 3. A headway with feminism. There are plenty of fun things that can happen to Eloise in Bridgerton Season 3. If she doesn't reconcile with Penelope and Theo, or if she ends up not getting married at all, the young lady would still be somebody to look out for in Bridgerton 3 anyway. She had always had a mind of her own, and that alone sets her aside for the love Bridgerton fans have for her. She could become a strong advocate of feminism and politics in Bridgerton 3. After all, we've seen how hungry she is to find and discover answers to women's liberation in the Regency era. We've also learned how easily she connects with her brother's wife, Kate Sharma, who shares the same idealistic views on women's liberation. And now that we're expecting Kate Sharma to be back for Season 3 of the TV series, the fans believe there would be more connection between these 2 strong and rebellious women, and we definitely love to see that sisterhood go deeper. And maybe Eloise might start to see why marriage isn't such a terrible thing if love is involved. The fans think Eloise has a lot to learn from the new Viscountess. When Claudia was asked what we should expect of Eloise in Season 3, she said, "The cast genuinely knows nothing about what happens next. We know nothing about the next few seasons, but for Eloise, a further story, I'd love to see her become political. I know that romance is such an important part of this show, and it is everywhere. It's beautiful. But I do think it would be, not to ignore romance with Eloise, of course, but I do think there'd be something really cool about her finding her path. I really want her to find hers, then become political about it. I think that would be really cool." The fans would be really glad to see that Eloise doesn't waver in her struggle with gender equality, especially in the era where it is mostly uncommon. And on top of that, the creators of the series already changed a lot of things from the books, so why not make Eloise even more political and unique? Now, we've seen a variety of things that could happen to Eloise in Bridgerton 3. Which of them do you think sounds the most plausible? Do you have your own theories on what will happen to Eloise in Season 3? Thanks for watching! Bye!